And welcome back to Game Time. It is unofficially official on Friday night. Dwight Howard plans to join the Houston Rockets. Here with more reaction, we welcome in by phone the one and only TNT's Emmy Award-winning Charles Barkley is with us. Charles, he made a decision. What are your thoughts on that decision?
First of all, I'm shocked he made a decision. You know, I don't think I'm surprised. I think if you look at the teams, that was probably the best mix for him as far as going forward trying to win a championship. So I'm not surprised in that aspect.
Charles, you've been a part of the Houston organization. What advice would you give Dwight now he's made that decision once he gets to Houston?
Well, it's a great city. It's a great city. And the fans are fantastic. You know, they treated me great when I couldn't play anymore. And I always appreciate Coach Tomjanovich and the fans because I couldn't play dead my last couple of years. And they didn't kill me, and I've always said that, and I appreciated that. But listen, this got to make the Rockets a serious contender. With James Harden and those guys, man, they're an elite team. There's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on Dwight Howard. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of negative pub from leaving the Lakers. But as far as that was the best team with young players to go around him. So from a basketball standpoint, he made the best decision.
And Chuck, how much you think being around Akeem and having Mikal, those two guys walking into that meeting and say, hey, we're going to help you win, we're going to help you be successful, how much you think that played a part of it?
Well, he needs Kevin McHale. I think, you know, his game offensively is so limited. He doesn't even know how to post up, D. Scott. You know, he gets 2 offensive fouls a game pushing off because he doesn't know how to use his arms and legs. You know, listen, Akeem is obviously a Hall of Famer, but I don't think you can teach Akeem stuff. I've always said Kevin McHale is the best player I ever played against. He's the best offensive forward on the post I've ever seen. I think he's going to be huge for the White's game. But as far as Akeem Olajuwon, I don't think you can teach that stuff he did.
No, I think that's just God-given with the dream. Hey, Charles, this is going to be 3 teams in 3 years with Dwight Howard. You talked about how there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure. If this thing doesn't come to fruition, you've used up a lot of goodwill as a young player.
No. He's out of goodwill.
That's it.
He's got to ride this thing out in Houston now. Like you said, Vince, this is his 3rd team in 3 years. If it doesn't work in Houston, he will never – like, first of all, to get his reputation back, he has to win the championship. But if it doesn't work out in Houston and he wants to be traded or anything negative happen, his reputation can't ever come back. The only way he can get his reputation back is if they win the championship.
Charles, as we kind of close the book on the L.A. chapter of this whole thing, I want to ask you about what you thought from the outside view of the Kobe and Dwight dynamic and the fact that I guess maybe not everyone is cut out to be maybe a New York Yankee or an L.A. Laker or play on that really, really big stage in their professional sport.
You know, Vince, I got to tell you something. You know, me and Shaq get into it. I've always said I'm a big Dwight Howard fan. I thought he's been the best big man in the NBA the last 5 or 6 years. But I was very disappointed in his mental makeup watching him from a distance this season. And just judging by what I've seen the last year, the last 2 years, I didn't think he was going to stay in L.A. because Kobe's probably going to be done in the next year or two. And from a psychological standpoint, I'm not sure he has the mental toughness to be a franchise player. And now James Harden's going to be able to take some of that responsibility away from him. Because if he had stayed in L.A., listen, Kobe Bryant would never be the same. He's an older guy already. He would have never been the same. And I don't think from a mental toughness makeup, Dwight could have handled being the man in L.A. It doesn't surprise me he left the Lakers after what I've seen the last couple of years.